Game number 1, brand new fresh series, and we're going through this way too quick, guys. Too many 3-0s happening today. Too many series and lives being ended before they had a chance to get going, but it is the first group of many. That reminder that we have one group scheduled for every day of the rest of the week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, baby. Then, of course, the weekend, we slap you up. You get some People Images King of the Hills. You get some Shoutcraft King of the Hill. They get a little bit more People Images King of the Hill. There's a lot of really good StarCraft to enjoy. And I hope you guys will, well, do frankly just that. Spawning here to the top left side of the map, we got the yellow Zerg player, Impact.
In the bottom right, as the pink Protoss, it is Zest.
Not to actually dive into the IEM drama, but a really weird thing for me, and this was something that people already knew about, was there's this whole censorship of teams when it comes to Pyeongchang, and it was really strange that one of the big rundowns I was given for the cast last night was like, you absolutely cannot talk about, show, or see teams. And it's just...
Wait.
Like, we had to...
What?
Teams, like player teams.
Huh.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard the news, players actually are not allowed to represent their teams at the Olympics. Now, a lot of this has to do with things that sadly make sense, but not in a fair way. Sponsor conflicts and teams possibly having conflicting branding. And
yeah,
I get why, right? Congratulations, it's the real world. We're moving a little bit past esports, but it was just so strange having to have these overlays prepared, because when players had their team names built into their names, like we had to like show something different. It was just, that was a really weird experience, actually, that I'm still kind of getting over.
Yeah, it does make sense, but it is, you know, something that StarCraft never had to consider. So there's not really a way to help. Yeah, there's a lot of odd extra rules for it being paired up with the Olympics. Maybe it'll be worth it all in the end.
I hope so. I mean, the thing is, I really like StarCraft, and regardless of whatever drama is getting players or not getting players there, I'm just excited that StarCraft is the name that's associated with it.
Of course, yeah. It really sucks too that most of the players that were disqualified last night would have been in Korea anyways. Like, they're gonna be around the Olympics and around the tournament and been like, well, we're here, but we're not actually playing. Although Pyeongchang's like in like really weird area of Korea no one goes to. Anywho, that aside, we do have Impact versus Zest, and Zest might be abusing his race versus Terran. He is just also a very good player. Like, it is not what he was 6 months ago. So I would give Zest the victory in this series over Impact. Perhaps Impact would too, as he's starting off the game with a bit of aggression. Looking to set Zest off a little bit.
This is a really strange wall, actually. It presents a lot of surface area, you know. It's like you're shaking your booty here. Each of these is one of the butt cheeks. I don't really like this just because it looks like it'd be easy to break a wall for, but at the same time, Zest is prepared for probably exactly that to happen. He actually sends his units here to the main. Double Overlord drops are better than single Overlord drops, but the probes being pre-pulled, they handle this so well.
Yeah, and you can pull them away now.
Oh my god. This was handled so well out of Zest, because on the other side of this, he built a shield battery to heal up his buildings. He put the pylon down knowing he'd lose the Adept. Only 4 Zerglings. Forget what I said about surface area. This was handled so well and with such grace. And like, I'm going to say dignity. Like, Zest, he didn't panic and he didn't do anything weird. Like, that was exactly how he should have handled that.
He's Miss United States.
Miss South Korea, excuse you.
His beauty and his grace. This is putting, yes, Impact in a bad position. He did cut drones to do that, and now he's cutting drones even further to get a Bailey Nest that could be for safety, but also be for attacks. I think for safety. You realize that it's a lot of Adepts. Maybe didn't see the Twilight Council, but it's thinking Fate's Resident Glaives. Very common opener. I'd say it's taken up, you know, more of the build order openers than anything else has in this matchup, then he's preparing for it. But if he does deal with it, he could perhaps counter and at least stop the third base for Zest.
Mr. Congeniality here with the Adepts. Gonna get some okay trades and back away. I gotta be honest, actually, thinking on it, I don't know who looks better, Sandra Bullock or Zest.
Oh, Zest, for sure. Well, Miss Sandra Bullock got second place, and then Miss United States playing like, she didn't get first.
Yeah, but Zest also never took in a black child to grow up and nurturing the blind
Oh my
side
God.
the same way
He
she
never went
did.
to space.
He never went to space. You're right. He never hallucinated George Clooney. Like, what has Zest done, honestly, compared to Sandra Bullock? You can't even compare the two of them.
That's true. That's really true. But hey, Impact made a lot of links, all right? Like, he did successfully push back the Adepts, but he's not using his Lings now. Perhaps realizing he can't, but that's still a sucky situation. You know, the Adepts, they retreated, more warped in, and they're protecting that third base.
One thing Impact has been pretty adamant about doing throughout all series against foreigners and Koreans alike are Overlord drops, and most specifically, Banelings with them. So he has set that up here on the bottom left side with that first Overlord from earlier. I thought I saw him morph in a second Overlord, but maybe I'm just taking crazy pants pills. No, I did. Just back at home.
It's not the speed joke that I'm laughing at, it's the way that it's said. Zest never drove a bus pretty quickly.
that's one of those like perfect movie summaries for that movie too.
Pretty quickly, but not super fast.
It's true though, because you went exactly over what you needed to, and there's a lot of moments in the movie where you're like, oh no, we're slowing down. Like, so it's pretty quick. It was pretty quick. I love our chat sometimes. Oh my god. He picks up a couple of probes, hoping to distract Zest, but Zest has stalkers on patrol. He knows Impact shenanigans, and he's not going to fall for them. I mean, part of this for Impact, too, it's maybe a little predictable. I mean, we talk about this all the time. If the casters know something's coming, then the players have got to know that that's coming too. And Impact does this so often, so frequently, it's to be expected. So Banling some way, somehow, the stalker's waiting to intercept precisely that. It might also have a lot to do why he handled his first two Overlords so well. You never see double Overlord drops, but against Impact, maybe Zest has played against it a few times too many.
I think that he has. This might be a case of people trying to, you know, stop Zest from getting into his groove, as Zest is just performing well in every single matchup. I really want to emphasize this for people who think he's just like abusing his race nowadays. He's performing well in every single matchup. So maybe he's used to people cheesing him because he is kind of like, he's become top dog as far as the off season has gone.
Or yeah,
perhaps he's
Story Cup was just the start.
Just used to it. Yeah, exactly. Perhaps he's just used to it too. I don't know. But the point is, Zest is performing very well. Doesn't even lose the sentries to that. That would have been actually a very good use of the Baneling drop. Not happening. And now on his way to Colossus, of all things. But important that it's going to be out in time to help here, and that he has already a couple of Immortals to help out too.
It's a real big bust coming in. He's even got this Overlord to drop on top of the force fields past those sentries. But that thing should be shot out of the sky. The focus fire comes a little bit late to the Banelings. Actually connect to the heart of the Stalkers. Not quite all the sentries and Adepts, but Impact still holding with a pretty good attack force. Crossbow's landing on some of this too. It's hard to say. This Nexus looks like it might go down. Shield battery's not going to be up. You can power the Warp Prism in a pinch.
Yeah, that was a maybe, but the Colossus was on the way, and it looks like Impact was distracted. I thought Zest might be too distracted by trying to harass like he did. But it ends up being Impact that had to pull back temporarily. Very important time here for Zest. Power up those shield batteries and drop the Colossus? More power to him. There's something that can take that Warp Prism down.
I was really hoping Zest would lose that fight so I could make a Crash reference for another Sandra Bullock point, but... I actually can't think of any other movie she's been in. That's like my last reference, Crash, and that's it. Alright, well, we got those corrosive bows looking to land. Whether it's Colossus, Warp Prism, or on top of the Immortals, it's all just fine. He's actually opened a pathway for the Banelings. They get in on top of the sentries. Thank God for the way corrosive piles break force fields. Zest is on a really low army supply. Colossus are in an absolute opportune spot to take this fight, though, and this Nexus still has somehow not gone down yet.
Yeah, it looks like Impact's finally going to just target the damn thing, but probably Impact's on a very low tech, and his economy is not as great as you expect as our players. So, you know, losing that third base might not be the end of the world for Zest.
This is a pretty tough situation. Who's that observer again? I heard it. I was like, what? This must have been added recently. I swear, we've watched a million of Zest.
Christmas? What if it's for the holidays?
But it's not like a Christmas jingle, and Blizzard doesn't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, no,
that you know
StarCraft's
of.
very serious. We can't have fun in this game, except for once a year on April Fools where we give probes hats.
I was gonna say they gave him Santa hats. Alright, those are party hats. They didn't make him Santa hats.
I wouldn't mind. I honestly, you know what? I would not mind if there was a Christmas jingle, but I think the reason they couldn't is probably there's some bullshit copyright, like you can't put jingle bells in a game without paying some royalties or something.
But jingle is like as a whole, like whether it is a jingle or has any to it, is like Christmas-like.
You know, be a sick, like, because you know how they go up in the air to go into surveillance mode, and they hang like this. I would love if for a Christmas thing they actually just had like some mistletoe come at the bottom.
Oh, that would be cute, but kind of weird. Now kiss, roaches.
Now kiss. You have to walk under them to put little smooch emotes. Alright, this attack for the Colossus is a little bit awkward, but Zest Micro's on friggin' point, but he's down to 20-something army supply. I want to believe he's got a chance, but even with the shield battery keeping these Colossus alive, it doesn't look doable. Third base gonna go down once again. This time it comes with the cost of a lot of probes. Impact takes game number 1. Welcome to the awkward intro of Impacts.
The bottom right has the red Protoss. He is Zest.
Look, I think I saved that pretty good. Thank you very much.
Did you though?
It was a smooth, coherent sentence, so in my books, yes.
Okay. It just didn't sound like an intro.
It's like the artist formerly known as Impact.
Yeah. Where did he go? Didn't he change his name?
I don't think he did.
No, he never changed his name.
There's
He's been
Lucera.
impacted, so... Yeah, I was thinking back when he was in Brood War, but I think he was Impact back then too. But Zest did change his name 3 times. He used to be Wookiee. And before that, he was
what?
P-17 Gab, I think.
What? Is this real? Can I go to his Wikipedia? Is this going to verify this? What?
I'm pretty sure.
He used to be Wookiee?
Yeah. Yeah. So I remember that his original name was P7 Gab, which if you say it in Korean, translates to like I bathe in the blood of my enemies and shit like that. And then he was Wookiee when he transferred over to StarCraft 2 for Pro League, and then he decided Wookiee wasn't a good name, so he chose us.
Well, I'm glad he has a Zest. Actually, it looks cooler. It's got a Z in it. It's a nice name. I think it's funny, though, because this kind of harkens back to, I did the interview with Solar. I reference this a lot, guys, and we brought up the whole topic of, like, do Koreans know the whole meme about, you know, foreigners think they pick their name by picking a name randomly out of the dictionary. And Solar laughed at response because he's like, yeah, I know some Koreans who actually do that, but they didn't know that that was what foreigners thought about the names. And I gotta imagine Zest, he either really liked Star Wars and picked the wrong character name, or he picked the name out of it randomly to get Wookiee.
Yeah, I don't know what who'd have chosen.
Because Wookiee's not even a word that's in the dictionary. That's not a real thing. That's a Star Wars fictional, like...
Well, I think, you know, it might be something else in Korean before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Like, maybe it's a nickname of a K-pop star or something like that. Because it actually kind of sounds familiar that that's exactly what it is, but I don't remember, and obviously he didn't like it long enough. Because he did change his name and kept Zest for what is now maybe like 4 years. I mean, the transfer of Pro League was a long time ago. It's weird to think about. Well, 3 years ago.
By the way, I totally missed this earlier. Ryan came back. I gotta give some big love to this dude. If you guys like the overlay we use, Gameheart, he's the guy who originally created it. Awesome dude, works at Blizzard. Helped make these awesome graphs of reality. Came back to sub for 35 months, and he gave us the Riomar treatment with a yo. So I don't know if you're still watching, dude, but thank you very much. Please know that I still appreciate everything you've ever done for us, and I hope you're well. In the meantime, quick reminder to check out the Matcherino page, guys. ! Matcherino in chat. I want to use up every single code we have available because we got a lot to use up over the course of the month, and we've used most of them up in one day, which is freaking awesome. We still have some available.
Well, we have a good old-fashioned Baneling bust coming in here. The Overlord drop is in the back. No, that's just an Overlord. Almost an Overlord. There's no Overlord drop. It is just a front bust. But, you know, there's going to be a force field, and that could buy time for a shield battery. But Zest doesn't know it's on the way. So that's pretty important. Hey, look at that. Woo!
Nice force field. That almost looked like the Adept left it behind as it died. The scary thing is, though, there's a little bit more to this, and Zest has to hold on with another force field for a bit longer. Kind of slow in the draw. Might lose that Oh, that front sentry does go down. So he's not going to have another one. He's got to warp in more. He needs more force fields, but this isn't taking out the Zerglings fast enough.
It's not killing the Zerglings, but it is buying time. Cyber Expert could go down, and that is a hefty loss. Depths have to be warped in right now, or they just won't be warped in. And like shield batteries come down.
Oh,
Nothing
no.
but zealots from here on out.
Zest really being beaten back. He's finally dealt with a large portion of the Zerglings, though.
Oh, is that not a... Oh, that's still a wall. Oh, okay. Well, hey, you know, his economy isn't in touch?
I'm pretty sure you can walk in on the backside.
Okay, yeah, even Zest thinks so, but that... Okay, Impact chose not to, I guess.
This was bad, though, for Impact. As cool as it was watching him tear down these walls, get the baneling hits the way he did, the reality is he cut a lot of workers to make this happen. So now he's trying to make up for this with droning. But 3 bases and a significant lack of income. In fact, look at that income graph, guys. Zest up like 1,000 minerals plus over his opponent. That's what he was able to afford in that wall. In fact, when we look at the... Zest actually lost almost exactly as many minerals as he was ahead. So by all means, evens out if it weren't for the fact that his tech was destroyed. Killing the Cybercore was huge. Getting the Twilight Council was bigger. So there's no DT Shrine following this up. There's no Archons on the way. There's nothing for Impact to really be that scared of. He did good damage, but not enough, I feel.
No, I don't think he did. And while there was a temporary loss of production because of the Cyber Core being down, I don't want to build 7 Zealots after all. It is now up again in the main base. So the Adept attack is going to commence with Resident Englaives, and even if Impact doesn't take any damage, he has to make units to defend against this. Meanwhile, Zest gets a pretty safe 3rd base, limited minerals, but fine enough gas, and continues on his merry way. I don't think it's going to be worth it. The roaches have already been made, and looks like Zest also thinks it's not going to be worth it.
These Adepts shading out, so they're really just looking to get in, get a couple of kills, and get out. Sniping out the Ravager is actually not a bad choice. Getting drones would have been cool, but shutting down a Ravager is always a nice pickoff.
Yeah, it's something. It's a lot more important to what Zest is doing behind the scenes anyways. Pokes and prods are scouts and small trades, the very best. But it's more important that he adds on the Twilight Council that was destroyed, and then Robotics Bay for, I guess, Colossus again. I mean... We had a lot of fun last game, but it was interesting that it was a Roach Ravager all-in against a Colossus style, and maybe you could blame the Colossus for losing that game. You know, it was a little too slow. It does a lot of splash damage, but doesn't kill roaches that fast. And it just came a little bit too late. Could the same thing happen again? Impact looks like he's gearing up for another attack, much like last game, and Zest has a very similar looking army to last game. 2 Immortals, a handful of Adepts, and a Colossus that could be potentially out in time.
Well, at least he's only going to have 1 angle of attack to worry about, but unfortunately that angle of attack is coming at his 4th. He did take the pocket base out of necessity because of the way this game was going, but that base is never one you want to rely on. You need a fully saturated mineral line. You need 8 mineral patches, not 4. Impact also heading towards the main, but a quick withdraw from Zest keeps this from getting anywhere close, but it's not banelings, it was roaches. Okay.
Interesting. Well, that 4th base, obviously not going to get it. Just let him buy time with a pylon while you wait for Sand Thermal Lance. The real trick, I think, to this situation is that the map is so different. Zest is not out protecting a 3rd base with a concave. He's protecting a natural with a choke while still having a 3rd base. Like, that's very different.
Colossus is going to wash off the Zerglings. They go into a terrible spot. That's kind of nice to see. That being said, the Colossus aren't shooting the Zerglings. They're shooting the roaches, and I'm not sure this is the way he wants to be doing it. Oh, he carpet bombs the sentries that were protecting the Colossus. There's not going to be force fields. He's trying to dodge the shots here with a little bit of warpers and micro too, but it looks like Impact is starting to lose out on steam faster than Zest is. But Zest's 4th was still canceled through this. Either way, not going to be enough. Zest will tie things up 1-1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's game number 3. We are in the winner's match. If you're just joining us in the tournament, we have the group finals to still play after this. But in the bottom right, with the game having been tied up on him, it's the yellow Zerg, Impact.
In the top left is the red Protoss. He is Zest.
It's really interesting seeing him go for the Colossus play. I know people have been trying to make this become more and more of a thing, I'm still not super convinced by it because I feel like it's still so easily shut down by like a Corruptor swap, by Vipers, by Broodlords, you name it. Even Banelings, as we're seeing, like roll into them sometimes. I'm not convinced that Colossus are the path of the future for Protoss.
Well, people are gonna try, and they have had a decent win record as far as we've seen them. I mean, today alone, they're 50-50. Anyways. But yeah, some other times, like Neve was using them, even BlizzCon was kind of coming back in a way, and then after, with the new patch, people were wondering if there was perhaps something to be said there. As the patch has drastically affected PvT, it has also, of course, affected PvZ. Chrono just being overall better is a big difference. Stalkers are better against everything, not just armored. The Roaches are armored, so they're good against that too. I mean, there are a lot of changes, so this is the time to experiment and test if Disruptors could be the new thing, or if Colossus could be the new old thing.
The new old thing, I like it. Also, thank you, Acid Bean. Hello, Bean. Thank you for the 39-month resub. Coming in for a long time on the channel. Good to have you back one more time. And glad to see people have got their sub stuff kind of fixed. If you guys didn't hear, a little while ago, Twitch messed up and unsubscribed a bunch of people who were like long-time subscribers to various channels, ours and others as well. Good Guys Twitch, though, did kind of help make up for it if you didn't see. And this goes back to that notification tab that we talked about earlier that a lot of people don't know they have. Twitch is actually giving you a month free for subbing. All you gotta do is like make sure you go actually reactivate it. So if you're one of these people who was subbed for a long time but was forcefully unsubbed due to the system being broken, Twitch has got you with a free month to make up for it.
Well, Impact going for 2 all-ins. Maybe goes to a third one here. That last map just felt so odd to do that all-in on. I mean, there's a chance the Protoss player takes the outside third, thinking they can get away with it, and then, you know, whatever, do whatever you want. But, you know, there was the third taken in the back. I think Impact knew that, but maybe not at a time that he felt comfortable to macro out of. He had already made so many roaches. It might have been more like a all-in of situation as opposed to what he planned on doing, but it didn't end up going well. And honestly, if Zest had a second chance to redo the first game over again, I think that it wouldn't go well again. But this is not looking anything like the last 2 games. The opener from Zest here is going to be Archons.
I like this. This is a little bit back more to that classic damage, and Zest through his Warp Prism Micro of the Colossus alone has already displayed. He's got Micro in the bag. So I think doing a little bit of drag and drop, bit of harass, and going back to the old classic Zest build, right? I mean, this is what he got known for coming out of the gates for Legacy of the Void. It's a really solid build to go for. But what's kind of funny is we haven't seen it much, if really at all, since patch 4.0 hit.
Yep, we had, as I was saying in the first game, I think, is that Resident Glaives is an opener either before or after a Stargate. Usually after, I guess. Either with or without a Stargate, so I should say. There you go. That's become more powerful. That's become the more often chosen build. But this occasionally comes back. Stargate openers also occasionally come back.
Yeah, actually, it was the series Noonie was having last night. He had a really disgusting Adept build that followed. Like, it was really good to see fast resonating glaives and +1. But not everyone can pull that off, and it is kind of all-in-ish, so... Zest doesn't have a lot of supply in the field yet, but he's about to.
So, well, you know, Impact might be going for another all-in, just a different version of one. We'll see if an Evolution Chamber is added on here, how many drones they end up getting. But going for the main base DTs is always a bold move. Usually it's the third base, and even sometimes without the DTs, right? So that was hopeful, and also very dangerous if these Archons are not already close to finishing. Those links could have killed them.
No, actually, they're in a pretty good spot, though. I like where he chose to put them, like in secluded spots in the mineral line. Hello. It's the two high Templar within him are still fighting on which direction to go. It's like the ogres from like Warcraft. Let's go this way. No, that way.
So Impact is doing it all in. It is not Roach Ravager. It is not Baneling. It is Hydra grids. No drones really. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a couple more drones. I'd say you usually get up to like, what, 50 or 40 or something like that, and then you go for the busts. Oh, Zest taking his third base out here. I don't know about it. I don't know. This is going to be hard to hold. You know, if Impact's not going to reinforce this push, he's going to go into a macro game, you know, 4th base and all that. he could still do damage. This is going to be an area that has multiple pathways leading into it, as well as a still pretty big concave to grab.
Oh, he just transfused the Overseer. That's kind of cool to see. Grabs the Adepts, though. Ooh, we could get those pylons now. Maybe, no, the Archons are home just in the nick of time. Pretty good units, gotta say.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching the Impact still make Hydras. He threw out a couple more drones. I was kind of thinking like, okay, maybe the Hydras weren't like the all-in necessarily. It was like more like you're all-in need to defend a Protoss all-in, right? Like, but no, he's still going for it. There's no upgrades. That's the biggest thing here. There's still no Evo Chamber. There's still no +1. This is just going to be do or die for Impact. And while he's going to have a pretty nice supply lead, I mean, look at that army supply, right? It's the type of supply. And this is where we go back into the question of like Archons or not. A lot of Warpins, a lot of charge lots, big +1 on the way. That's probably going to get chronoed out if I had to guess. Zest should have a better type of supply, even if he's down in supply.
Yeah, it'll be a tough hold, and it'll have to come down to some really tough decisions to make, but I think that the Protoss army is capable with most build openers, with most follow-ups. It just is... It's going to be tight. And Impact, 55 drones is going to have a lot of, I think, power behind it. You know, the tug of war will be quite a close one. But it is all in. If this doesn't work, he's going to be drastically behind in upgrades. He's going to be drastically behind in army type.
I gotta know when that noise was put in the game. This is going to drive me nuts. I've never heard it before.
Yeah.
Oh, good force fields to cut that army down to size. That's going to be nice to see. Shield batteries keeping a lot of these units up and healthy. Archons coming on that right side. The Hydras, if they all got to fight at the same time, would be an overwhelming force, but the force field shut that down. A couple more force fields coming down. Impact can't get that full fight that he's looking for, but he's still taking out a lot of Zest units. However, some of Zest units are on the other side of the field, and these charge lots, look at the slaughter of these queens. Once those go down, there's nothing left to protect those drones.
Taking away production, literally larva here. Maybe an important maneuver. So the tug of war is going to be close enough. Impact missing out on a couple of Lings or a couple of Hydras could be big. But the way Impact's going to try and transfer out of this is by going into Lurkers. Now, again, he won't have upgrades. And he won't have that strong of an economy, but if he gets 5 Lurkers, he did just tear down the Immortal count. The charge lots might not be as good as he was hoping for. Lurkers could be a solution, but as far as I'm concerned, Zest has successfully held.
So Overseers don't make noise when they set up. I'm sorry, guys. Well, I'm gonna be stuck on this. Yeah, like they're in the sky. They should be like.
No. Zerg music.
Like the Protoss is all elegant and chimey. The Zerg one's just like a wet fart.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, Nexus going down is pretty big. This is some of the damage Impact was looking to get. It's not about trades for him. It really isn't. He's, as we've been stating, all in. That means cards on the table. He's got to win it. There's no pulling back. And while he is pulling back to deal with the army for now, it's to protect his drones, he's still not going for upgrades. He doesn't have advanced tech coming out behind this. No infestation pit, no hive, no vipers. It's still raw, basic, brutal, all-in units.
Well, tearing out their base was crucial, and it looked like Zest even was thinking about all-inning, that I'm making pulled back, grabbed the third, maybe could have gone down a little bit sooner. But now they deal with Lurkers. This Overseer, by the way, has just been so annoying. There's not much that you're gonna like as a surprise, right? You know they have Dark Shrine, you know they have Immortal production, but still, Overseer just chilling. There's almost 10 Lurkers. Zest had to kind of restart his Immortal count, so only up to what, 3 now? Yeah, 3. That's not enough to bust through the Lurkers. I don't know if he's gonna be able to hold this third.
Yeah, I want to say detection's going to be an issue, but I don't know. Impact has left a lot of these observers. Like, one was over his natural base until I think about a minute ago when it got picked off. Like, my biggest fear is that Lurkers might get away with this game, not because of their damage type or because of how good they are or are not objectively. It's just stealth might be the biggest issue. So that's only has 2 observers left. One with the army. No, they're both with the army. And if those get picked off by the Hydras, those Lurkers are going to run away with this game.
Yeah. This Overseer could be a big deal in more ways than one. But finding out where the army is coming into is important. Realizing goes into this choke. This is actually something that impacts... like, this actually finds a better position for Zest, right? Like, having to go up the choke like that Only a couple of the lurkers were even helping each other. Most of the lurkers weren't even firing.
That corpse went flying.
What was this? Okay, well, he just loses sentries for no reason. But still, what was that? Impact probably should have attacked somewhere else. Yeah, that's just the that's the TLDR of that fight.
Just come in here and looking to get some damage. Maybe finish this off, maybe not. I don't know. He's got +1 weapons, which is going to help out a ton. But to address the complaints going on in chat real quick, first off, just so everyone's aware, you never get banned. If you're typing in chat right now, you're not banned, and you've never been banned because you stay banned when you're banned. The bot does purge links though, so if you're not a subscriber and you post a link, you're gonna get timed out, and just to remove the link, because it could be a malicious link. I know you might have good intentions trying to post like WCS standings or something from like the WCS website, but equally so, we got bots coming in all the time trying to post links to like malicious cam girl sites or like viruses. Like, don't take it personally, guys. But this is like the number one pet peeve. Everyone always confuses a ban with a purge.
Yeah. It's very annoying. Speaking of chat, though, I gotta agree. I think there was a bit of a throw in that last fight, forcing his way up that choke for no, I feel like no good reason. Like, he knew there wasn't a fourth that he was gonna get. You know, his overload's still creeping that up. He doesn't have to kill the natural to guarantee a kill. He could have gone after the third and still had a decent fight, I feel. But I guess he was hoping for the, you know, the insta win, one where you get right up on top of the natural and they, you know, try and hold without thinking of how to hold, and then you win. But that was a dangerous thing to do when he got caught on the ramp.
Yeah, and lurkers best set when not sieging can contain really well, and that's what I think probably would have been the better way to go about this, right? You just contain your opponent and starve them out, frankly. Even with the new minerals letting you stay on the bases longer than ever before, you still can't stay on them forever. Taking a two-pronged attack, he does distract a good chunk of Zest units to the top side. Templar with those brand new attacks we see kind of in play, but this allows the lurkers to reposition. Storm's not done for this fight. Observer gets picked up on the backside. No detection for those lurkers. One single observer remains, and it's over here on the left side, way out of position. He has no sight and no eyes on those lurkers. Even if he did, oh my god, the Bailings just took out all the Templar on the backside. GG! Impact 2-1! Welcome back once again. The BTSL continues here in the Winter Series. 2-1 for this fella down here in the bottom left. Not screwing up the intro this time. It's the yellow Zerg. Impact.
In the top right, as the pink Protoss, it is Zest.
I'm a little surprised to see Zest struggling with the series in the matchup. Not because it's Impact, and not because of anything specifically Impact is doing, but just going off of Zest's tournament record, man. Dude's been nailing it since Home Story Cup, and he hasn't shown any sign of weakness. This is like the first time, you know, across like 4 different tournaments we see Zest even a little bit off kilter.
It's if I was gonna choose a matchup where he would go off, I guess one.
Okay, but first off, we're gonna restart the call because the way that cut out was some really bad censorship. Let's get this restarted real quick.
How did it cut off?
It came back saying the way he did it was really off. I was like, well, maybe you're not wrong, but let's, I don't think that's what you were going for, so let's restart this.
I was saying if I was going to pick a race for him to lose to, it would be Zerg. But anyways, it's like how he's losing that's really throwing me off. I think he's getting himself into good positions, right? Like he takes that fight on top of the ramp because Impact gave it to him. Well done. Or even the other game he lost, I thought he had an okay composition, but still ends up losing to just repeated attacks. You know, it's maybe not in a macro game he would lose. Maybe he gets to his comfort zone, you know, but Impact's not letting him. Impact is all winning around the same time, just with slightly different units, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you kind of changed out the composition, but it's the same overall idea. And it reminds me a little bit, granted not the same scale, but when we're casting the Tespert tournament, a lot of the Zerg players over there whipping out these all-ins that were working when maybe they shouldn't, I don't know, but Impact's strategies are working against Zest, and that's the tippy top of the hill for that one. Also, thank you, Super Drax, giving another sub to very nice fan. Nice stuff, dude. Keep it up. The spirit of giving and the spirit of generosity. I'd like to see it.
Hey. So we do have well, Resident Enclave opener again. Twilight Council is finishing up. The Archon drop last game, I guess it was kind of glossed over because it was so much more important than Impact was setting up for an all-in than, you know, whether or not those Archons were amazing. That it is worth noting the Archon drop, the opener for Zest did not do a whole lot.
It distracted a bit, I guess. But...
Yeah, exactly. And then the charges that warped in other, you know, during the fights also didn't do a whole lot, not as much as they wanted to. But it's not Resident Glaives. He added a Robo, added a Dark Shrine, so same openers last time.
Gets scouted again, too. This is a little unfortunate for Zest. I mean, this isn't an attack that depends on the element of surprise, but obviously it helps. Plus, just not giving away exactly what you're doing so freely and so easily.
Mm-hmm.
Also, got a command. I love the SimCity out of Zest. Once again, does this wall off perfectly, no mistakes. He's even got room to build in the extra pylons behind this if necessary.
That continues to be a reason why I don't want to play Protoss.
Because of SimCity?
Because of SimCity. It's the worst.
I actually had a really fun time explaining this to one of my friends who, you know, they're picking up the free-to-play hype, right? They're trying to play the game. First time ever. And then, like, I hear this phrase SimCity all the time. Like, I just don't get why you guys talk about that game when you're talking about StarCraft. I'm like, oh my god. It's been so long. Like, but now I understand because I remember as well when I first started. Same question. Like, what the fuck are they talking about SimCity for? Sid Meier's not playing this matchup. It's Zest and Impact. Initially,
I was like, I don't think I was ever confused about it, to be honest. Like subtle brag here, right? But as soon as someone said SimCity, I was like, oh, how their structures are being built. I wasn't like,
oh,
where are the Sims? I don't get it. Yeah, I'm really smart, guys.
It's SimCity because the casters are like Nervin, Nervin.
Wait, does SimCity have the Sims talk?
You know what? I don't know, dude. I don't play any of this.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is pretty bad. Just losing one of the ZTs, almost 2. He really wanted the queen. He had picked them all up when they were for safety. Greed got him there, and that queen ends up living with no health.
Just imagine there's like a ribbon on her butt, and she's like, "Don't chase me."
Silly boys, wagging the butt a little bit more swiggity swaggity than normal.
What a bait. Good job, Queen. So it has to warp on another DT. That is actually kind of a big deal. They're expensive.
All right, well, the Archons are going to be a little bit better than those DTs. They've got the robust 350 shields, a lot of damage, and a bit more reach, so taking on these units won't be out of the question. He targets the Overlords. Interesting. Except the Overseer, too. There
we go, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, he could have gotten maybe a couple Roaches or a couple Overlords. Chooses the Overlords. All right. Following up on a charge with that +1 third base at the his left side for Zest as he continues harassing. Impact finally going to get a serious macro game. You know, no early Ling drops, no Ling Baneling all in, but instead of, you know, Roach with upgrades and Hydras on the way.
Huh. Well, as I say, he might get that macro game if he doesn't lose too much to these Archon drops, which are doing way more than they've done in previous games. Constantly supply blocking Impact. I mean, later on in the game, you've got so many minerals floating. You build 18 Overlords, who cares? You think nothing twice about it. But already having several go down like this, 4 in total plus 2 Overseers, that's 6 Overlords worth of supply gone. He's had to replace. That's 600 minerals. That's 2 expansions worth of Overlords.
The Observer makes a sound when it goes into
and out of
too.
Dude, that sounded like one of those tubes. You know, you turn it up one way and it goes whoop, whoop, like coming in and out.
Yes, I know what you mean. Kind of, yeah. Wait, what is this? But does the Overseer not make any sound?
I'm telling you, it doesn't. But I wanted to make like a car bar, like honk honk or something, just like.
We know that it doesn't make the sound when it's in the surveillance mode, but shouldn't it make like a when it turns in and out?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where the fart sound makes sense, because it's elevating itself. It has to like vent some air to push itself up, right? So,
wait, how could it both lift itself up and let itself down by farting? It's got to do one or the other, not both.
Look, Zombie Grub, this is a mythical, fictional alien creature that has like 9 eyeballs and a lot of extra pockets, okay? There's a lot it can do and not do that we don't know about.
Okay.
Like, for example, where does it keep the top hat, monocle, and teacup? I don't know. Do you?
Would it be a monocle if it was 1 out of like 8 eyes? I guess it's a 1. So what is a?
No,
what
look,
is...
see, the other ones are closed. Oh wait, they're blinking. Oh, they just
They're
blink.
blinking.
I thought those were just closed.
Really?
Yeah, like look at this, the way
They're
the slits
all
are,
seeing,
right?
Rifkin. Like, what do you think you have a blind overseer?
I
All
mean,
yours have been faulty.
how many times in like television or stories is it the blind oracle who can see the future, Zombie Grub?
Well, the Oracle does not have eyes, so that's true.
Right, because it's a spaceship. I see what you've done there. Congratulations.
No.
You've word played. You rhymed. You word played. You're growing up, kid. They grow up so fast, guys.
Hey.
We got some more sub love coming into chat. By the way, thank you for the 22 months scaling, and thank you Firelicious for the 6 months coming back on both sides. Mucho appreciato. This game, by the way, storms are cooked and ready to go, so no Temple are going to die to banelings for nothing this time round. Takes about half the health of those Hydras. Not too shabby.
Yeah, Storm's pretty good. He learned that last game. But Lurkers can sometimes kind of do away with Storms, you know? Like, they take a lot of Storms to kill. The Storms are really just an additional amount of damage along with the more important Immortals. And Impact is actually even collapsing on the army. Storms blanket the fodder, and that is important. Those Lurkers are getting closer and closer to the probe line.
Oh man, he's got DTs to deal with this, but he doesn't have detection to see the lurkers, so main base also getting shredded. Zest is so focused on the front lines, and who can blame him? He's got a small attack on the other side of the field, but his mining has come to a full stop with this.
That can's gonna die. It's not gonna be able to help. He does finally have an observer. Okay, it didn't die.
Oh, way to be wrong, Zombie Grub!
Ah! Shield battery isn't even power. That really should have died.
She called you wrong, girl. That was weak. I take it back. But
Yeah,
the observer needs to get over here so the DT can kill that lurker. He needs to get back to
No!
mining, but the stacked up probes. A small heart attack is had, but these lurkers are preventing the army from pushing forward. Even with storms coming in, it's not going to cut it. This is so difficult for Zest, and he's looking like he's on the brink of defeat, frankly.
Yeah, the Immortals are losing their shield. He doesn't have a ton of charge that's left over, but if he can get to the meat of the Lurkers, then those Immortals will chunk them away pretty quickly. Not enough fodder. The Immortals finally got on top of them, but they just died as quickly as they're killing the Lurkers.
The lurker drops have been so effective, too. That one of the mains just killed 4 pylons.
Gee.
Impact takes the series 3-1 in his first place out of the group.